I'm Doug from Dynamic Computing, and welcome to episode 137 of 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast. This week, we're going to be talking about AmiWest. AmiWest is a fantastic show that I just got back from about a week ago. It was October 21st through the 23rd. There may have been a dev conference a day or two before that too. AmiWest has been going on in Sacremento, California, put on by SACC, the Sacramento Amiga Computer Club, since like 1998 they've been doing this, and they've been doing a fantastic job. They've got by far the largest Amiga-centric meeting in all of the United States, and it just keeps growing all the time. Now, I've been involved with AmiWest since 2019, not long after I got back into the community. I went out there live in 2019, met some absolutely awesome friends. 2020, of course, well, that was a little strange for everyone, but we still had a nice virtual show, and a couple people showed up at the actual conference center. 2021, my wife and I went out there, and 2022, my 17-year-old son, Daniel, came with me this year to AmiWest, which is absolutely awesome. He drove like halfway. I mean, even 2 in the morning, he's just happily driving along there and supporting me. He helped unload the vehicles. He helped get everything set up. He took videos and pictures at the show. And I think everybody liked him. He ended up talking to a bunch of people, playing a bunch of games, checking out a lot of the Amiga stuff. And Daniel, thank you so much for helping out. Love you, my son. There's always a ton of contributors at AmiWest, a bunch of vendors selling things from booths, a bunch of people showing up, renting a table, showing off their hardware. So what I've done is I've put together a video and a series of still pictures of all of the fun things going on at AmiWest. We're going to take a look at that video, and we're going to take a look at those still pictures in just a couple of minutes, but I want to just touch on a few highlights. First of all, the special guests. RJ Micals showed up this year for the first time in a long time, and I'll tell you what, it was wonderful meeting that man. He's every bit as personable and as funny as you think he is. He's just that guy. You'll see him on video in just a few minutes. For the full video of RJ's presentation, take a look at Bill Bassari's website. I'll have that linked in the description. And apparently Dale Luck was there too, and I totally missed meeting him. I must have been busy in my booth. I mean, there's always stuff going on. I heard RJ talking about Dale, but it wasn't exactly sure he was talking about him being there at the show. But yeah, he was there, and I missed it, and I'm really sorry. I would have loved to have met Dale Luck in person. Now, on Saturday night, there was the keynote speaker for the banquet that takes place every year, and that was Tim Jennison from NewTek, the creator of the DigiView and the Video Toaster, 2 things you guys know that I love. I use both of them quite frequently. He was a charming person. Met him at the show, and what a fantastic guy. And me and Jerry and Steve, we were sitting down at one of the tables, and I glanced over and I said, "Who's that red-headed woman with Tim?" I said, "That's Kiki Stockhammer, isn't it?" And they're like, "Yeah, I guess so. I didn't know she was coming to the show." Total and complete surprise. Kiki Stockhammer in the flesh. And let me tell you, she is just as smart, just as kind, and frankly, just as beautiful as you guys always suspected she was. What a wonderful person. She spoke for a good maybe 5 to 10 minutes at the banquet. Again, the links to that should be right in the description. But how wonderful, and I was so glad to have met her. Also, the very first NewTek employee past Tim Jennison was there. His name is Robert Blackwell. Wonderful guy. Absolutely cool shirt that he was wearing on Saturday. It was this Hawaiian style shirt, but when you looked closely at the patterns, it was all Star Wars characters. It was so cool. Wonderful guy. And then Mark was there too. He was head of marketing for NewTek for a long time. You're going to see him in the videos with his creepy little hand puppet. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Remind me, I got to tell you the story about that hand puppet. Tim told me the story. OMG, hilarious. So I got to meet all of the NewTek guys, got some photos with the NewTek guys, got autographs from the NewTek guys, and it was wonderful. They had not actually seen each other in quite a long time. They kind of keep in touch now and again. But now they're talking about a NewTek reunion. I asked them if they'd invite me. I don't know if they will or not. It was wonderful meeting them. Everyone who gave presentations did a fantastic job. Again, take a look at Bill's YouTube channel. You'll see all the presentations. I myself did a quick presentation on the Amiga art contest and gave a sneak peek at some of the Amiga artwork that's in the contest, including this from my co-host, Kevin Saunders, displaying on my Amiga 1200. Funny story about my presentation for the Amiga art contest at AmiWest. I brought my Amiga 1200 with me, which I used to display all of the stuff for Amiga Art Contest and have since last year. It's got an Indivision MK2 card in it from Jens. What that does, that allows all of the Amiga modes to be displayed flicker-free and through DVI, and also allows you to display all of the funkier Amiga modes that the Amiga can handle fine. It's just monitors can't handle it. 1280 by 720, 1280 by 1024, these huge resolutions in full ham-8 colors. That's why I use it for the art contest. So I was going to use that in my presentation to do the art contest pictures live for my Amiga. Before I did that, my good friend, Mr. Toast, right there, he helped me by replacing the bad keyboard connector on my Amiga 1200. There was about 4 or 5 keys that were just not very well responsive, and it was because my keyboard connector, some of the pins were just mangled in there. Long story why, but I knew that it was the keyboard connector because I could push on the keyboard thing and they would type fine. So he replaced that. He did a fantastic job. Worked perfect. I put my Amiga 1200 back together. This is an hour and a half before my scheduled presentation time, okay? Put my Amiga 1200 back together, booted up, beautiful screen. My monitor said that the timing was wrong on the video signal and it was going to shut off the monitor. I said, what? And I could see right on there, 41 kilohertz. What? No, they're 31.5 kilohertz is what it puts out. And it would blank the monitor. Amiga 1200, working fine. Would not send out a signal that any of my monitors could support. I thought I lost my Indivision MK2. Now, I knew it was not anything that Toast did because I could take the MK2 out and the Amiga would work absolutely perfectly. It just come right up through RGB or whatever, just fine. So it was my MK2. So I had to very quickly, with about an hour before my presentation, completely find a way to redo it so I could display everything on my PC, on my laptop. And it was stressful, but it all worked out fine. All the data was there. I didn't lose anything. So that's my funny Amiga 1200 story. Luckily, she's working beautiful now. I figured out what the problem is. But enough chitter chatter. Let's start looking at the AmiWest Show 2022. Now, some of these videos, I'm actually carrying the camera, I'm talking, so you're going to hear some background noise. Others, I cut out the background noise and did voiceovers if you couldn't hear me very well, or if it was just background noise, I just do voiceovers. So there's going to be a change in the audio when you hear the background noise and then me going voiceovers, but no problem at all. So, enjoy. There are always boxes of miscellaneous goodies you can go through and purchase. Some are labeled, some you just make an offer on. Some cool, oh my goodness, what is this? What is this? Windows Vista, the missing manual. Where's that garbage can I was looking at a few minutes ago? I'm going to take that over there. Got some. This one is full of AmiNet discs. I'm thinking about buying that. Ooh, there we go. Nova Designs Image Effects. System Software, Professional Draw. Amiga Transformer. Ooh, that's the PC software. I'm gonna check that out. See what's going on with that. Arkanoid. Little zippy drives, CD-ROMs. Then there's the raffle. There's some cool raffle prizes that are going to be available. There really was some cool SAC stuff, not just Amiga stuff, but some stuff for PC and other platforms. Lots of Amiga stuff you wouldn't find in normal circumstances. There was some really cool stuff at Rabbit Hole Computing, good old Alex Perez. His SCSI to SDs, of course, but he's also doing a lot with the new Zulu SCSI, which is really, really a nice addition to the system. And the new one that he has coming out actually is a little faster than the SCSI to SD in some situations. One of the guys was showing off some really cool Amiga replacement boards. We've got everything from the A500 board here, which is absolutely stunning. Then we've got an Amiga 3000 board. Look at that. That reminds me of mine so much. Hey, it looks just like it. Then he's got an Amiga 2000 board, a replacement board. You just pop your own chips over and populate that little guy. Just absolutely amazing that we can do that in this day and age. And look at this, the Commodore 64. She's represented too with that beautiful C64i board. Jerry Gray and his family once again hosted the Amiga Games competition on this gorgeous yellow Amiga. No, it does not need retro brighting. It's supposed to look like that. And look what they won this year. The winner got this awesome 3D printed Terminator done by Jerry's kids. Really, really great. And no, I did not win. Then he brought his little custom 3D printed Mr. case. This thing is just beautiful. Then good old Mr. Toast here. He's got his jacked up Amiga 600 with a vampire in it. Still planning on swapping this out for mine and just not telling him. He'll never know. Oh, he's right there.
Hey, just getting started. Got a little late. I'm going to go to see Brian.
Then here's the Mega 65, which is absolutely gorgeous. Love the feel of the keyboard on it. It is a lovely, lovely little device. And he's helping some people out today with little problems. Sir, it looks like you have an Amiga 1200 motherboard there, sir.
Some guy just randomly dropped this off overnight.
Probably, what, a free gift or something?
I guess.
A donation?
But you know what? It comes with this keyboard connector, so I have a feeling that the owner is interested in having this replace, where did it go? That. So,
just sneak it out the back door. He'll never know. He'll never know.
I've got like too many of these sitting in various states of disassembly or repair that I don't want anymore.
Absolutely. I hear you, man.
Good to see you guys.
And then we have a 10-minute Amiga Retrocast. Look at this. There's my video toaster. We got some chroma key effects going on. Look at that. You can see me in my Hawaiian shirt there.
If it's got a diode on it,
Then down here, I've got my Amiga 1000 with my vampire in it, running a cool little demo, Science 451. That's having fun. We got the CD TV here. Oh, look, my Polaroid camera's on it. Who's this? It's Eric from Pixel Gaiden on a Polaroid. And I got my cute little keyboard, PS2 keyboard on there. And the CD TV's been a nice little addition to the show this year. Here we have my Amiga 600 with an error message. Animations object already exists. Okay, well, thank you so much. And my nice Amiga 600 with the A630 card. Here's a little cutie. Look at that. Look at the little A500 Mini. It's got a little baby monitor on it. Oh, it's so adorable. It's so cute. I just need a little microscopic joystick to go with it. Well, you know what would be cool? If we had a new version of that Amiga joystick, that little tiny Amiga joystick. There's a picture there, and have that go along with it. Then here's Chris Edwards' lovely PiMiga 3.0. People have been enjoying looking at that, enjoying the new features of PiMiga. I'll have a link in the description where Chris talks more about it. But it runs really well. Been impressed. This is my Amiga 1000 box that I'm collecting signatures. Here we've got RJ Mical, got Trevor, got Mike from Cloanto. We've got, oh, look at that one, Kiki Stockhammer. I got Tim Jennison on here, a couple other guys from, there's Mark from NewTek. I got Robert from NewTek on here somewhere. Where did he sign? So, getting a lot of really cool signatures on my Amiga 1000 box now.
Here we've got some nice classic Amigas. I put them onto the new Miss Pac-Man on here. Awesome. Nice, beautiful, beautiful Amiga 500 with the ACA 500 Plus. Let's see what he's got in here. Anything special? Just a couple of SD cards. And it looks like he's got a expansion card in there. I'll have to ask him which expansion card that is. And I really, really, really need to get a case for my ACA 500 Plus. And what's this little beauty? Amiga 5, Amiga 2000, with NewTek in there, and a 5 1/4 inch floppy. Nice. Here we have our Amiga One devices. This is going to be probably a X5000, something like that here. Nice stuff. And the elusive Tabor, it really does exist. And look at that beautiful screen on there. It has even a mouse pointer and everything. Pretty advanced stuff. Here at the show, we not only have Amigas, like this beautiful Amiga 4000 here, beautiful Commodore 128D, beautiful Plus 4, and a lovely VIC-20 with a matching white 1541 drive. So you got some really nice Commodore stuff here at the show. And then there's this. What on earth did Chris Collins bring to an Amiga show? He's got some Sparrow boards here, Falcon Sparrow boards. That's actually a Falcon under here. I don't know why somebody stacked boxes on it. There we go. And then some Joker. No idea who did it. No idea in the world who did this. Official Atari storage unit. Right next to Chris's Ataris. That's rude. I can't even imagine who would have done that. What wasn't me. Here we've got the new Amiga 4091 SCSI controller that they're working on. I can't wait to look at this and see just how powerful it is. It'd be a fun little addition for my Amiga 3000. He's got a Zulu SCSI from our pal Alex Perez from Rabbit Hole. Oh, look at this. Here it is.
And now we have some still images from the show. Some nice pictures that we took, including Eric from Pixel Gaiden and Chris Collins and a bunch of new friends. Please enjoy them while listening to some beautiful mod files from this year's Amiga Art Contest. Now they tell you never to meet your heroes, and they are completely wrong. One of the guest speakers at the AmiWest 2022 was the absolutely brilliant and absolutely hilarious RJ Mical. I got to meet him personally, and I'll tell you what, he is just as cool and nice in person as you think that he would be. He's just an absolute pleasure. There's a full video online of RJ's speech that Bill Bersari did and Robert Bernardo filmed. I'll put a link to that in the description. I recommend you watch it because he is absolutely hilarious and he tells some fantastic Commodore stories and other stories too. And as soon as I get the pictures, I will tell you guys all about the bourbon shot that RJ and I ended up doing together. But what a treat, what a pleasure to see this man speak. It was just fantastic. For sure, one of the biggest pleasures was the banquet on Saturday night where we got to see Tim Jennison of NewTek speak. And he was brilliant, he was funny, and we learned so much about how NewTek ran. And the biggest surprise of the evening was when Kiki Stockhammer showed up, because none of us had any idea in all of creation that Kiki was going to be there. No idea at all. And they also brought along Robert and Mark, who were members of the NewTek team. Robert was actually the very first employee of NewTek back when they were just selling the DigiView, which was absolutely awesome. They're charming people, they're wonderful people. They had not seen each other in many years in some cases, which was just fantastic. And it was a pleasure seeing them. It was a pleasure getting to know them, and it was really cool having Tim play with my Amiga 2000 video toaster. I loved that. One of the cool things that Mark brought in that Tim really got a kick out of was the Cool Friends of NewTek package. If you guys remember, you could send in, when you got a video toaster, to join the Cool Friend of NewTek club, and they'd actually send you this stuff like X-ray specs, pictures of some of the staff, cinnamon cats, there's a little spark gun in there, there's some buttons. My goodness, what I would not have given to be able to actually get a box of Cool Friends of NewTek. That would be so slick. And how about an official NewTek license plate? That would be pretty cool. Wonder what happened to NewTek 1 through NewTek 6.
Sunday night, about 5:48. Everybody's packing up. There's good old Robert Bernardo. Everyone's putting all their stuff in their vehicles and getting ready to roll out. It was a wonderful trip. Fantastic AmiWest.
Now there's always cool things to buy in AmiWest. You guys saw on the videos just desks of boxes with Amiga stuff, Commodore 64 stuff, PC stuff in it. I usually spend too much money here. This year that was pretty cool. I didn't spend a whole lot of money. I did buy some cool speakers, which I will show you in just a second. I won't show you those right now. They're in just a minute. But I got some cool Commodore speakers along with some other speakers from my friend Richard. But let me show you what I got from the SAC tables. This is the AmiGen Genlock. Now, this is a cheap and cheerful little Genlock. This was like 150, 180 bucks back in the day. One of the cheaper ones, and it was known for being cheap. But it'll be fun to use. Some people literally just use these because it outputs a composite signal that's a cajillion times better than the A520 composite adapter. So they just forget about the Genlock portion and just use it for composite. But I'm going to use it, play around with it for this Genlock capabilities. Now, I bought one of these a month and a half ago on eBay for 45 bucks, plugged it in, started working just for a few seconds, and then I smelled a horrible burning smell and realized it toasted a chip inside. So now I have a replacement. Happy day. Now on a sadder note, you guys all know Eric from Amiga Love, also known as Intricate. He's got two handles. He has a friend named Chris Brenner. Now, Chris was helping him with some projects with some of his Amiga 1000 parts, including creating some kind of software for some of the Amiga 1000 clocks so they would work with the current times and everything like that. He reached out to Chris a few months ago and didn't hear back. I said, what the heck's going on? So he did a little more research and found out that Chris had passed away. You see his picture right there. Terrible, terrible. He's a young man, just a few years older than me, which is still young. Yes, no comments, Daniel. but he had passed away. So Eric went and to the funeral, and he actually spent some time with some of Chris's family members, including a gentleman named Jason, who's some type of cousin through marriage or something like that. Nice guy. They couldn't decide what to do with Chris's investment in all of his Amigas and Commodore 64s and all of his hardware. So what Eric thought is, hey, why don't you bring it to AmiWest, sell it there, it will go to good people, and you'll be able to use the money to help pay the funeral expenses and money for the family. What a nice idea. So I had to contribute to the fund, and let me show you what I picked up, and rest in peace, Chris Brenner. I got some Commodore 64 cartridges. This is the Magic Desk 1 cartridge. No idea what it does, never used Magic Desk on the Commodore 64. I'm going to find out. Then we've got Commodore 64 Super Expander. This adds all the commands, the basic commands, and all the features that we wish would have been built into the Commodore 64 to begin with. Drawing lines, colors, everything like that. These are cool. This is from Hessware. Notice there's no label on it. The label fell off, so I plugged it in, looked at it. Turns out it's Hess Writer, which is a cartridge-based word processing program that's actually supposedly pretty cool. It's not a bad little program. So we're going to do a show on that one. Now, we've got Battlezone for the Commodore 64, the vector-based tank game. I'll be honest with you, the VIC-20 version of Battlezone is better. Far better. It looks better. It plays better. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to do a show on VIC-20 and Commodore 64 games where the VIC versions are actually better. And there's a few. And speaking of those games, one of them is Vic Avenger. This is a good game in the Commodore 64. It's the Space Invaders clone, the same as Vic Avenger, but this is the Commodore 64 Avenger. And guess what? The VIC-20 version is better. It plays better somehow. It's more responsive somehow. And I just like it better. And there's not that many games you can say that about. Look at the price on this game. 45 cents. Chris picked this up at some store for 45 cents. Don't you wish that when they were burning out all this old Commodore 64 stuff and it was in bins in the shelves, that we could go back in time and just buy it all up? It would be wonderful. Then we've got Starpost, which is actually a really fun game. You're this space station in the middle of this interesting area, and you rotate your laser cannon all around the space station to shoot enemies that come down these paths toward your space station. Actually a really fun game. I enjoyed it. And lastly, with our Commodore 64 stuff, Gateway to Apshai. Now this is the precursor to Temple of Apshai that actually came out after Temple of Apshai. Look at this cartridge. It's in cool, neat shape, certainly 80s looking. It's got the label on the back and the front, and look at that, you can see the little contacts right there. This is a fun game. I've already been playing this, and yes, I've already been killed by swamp rats. Now moving away from the Commodore 64 stuff, I picked up a copy of Desert Falcon for the Atari 2600. I own this for the 7800. It's a beautiful game. I didn't know it existed for the 2600, so I'm excited to try it out. Then Sega TAC-SCAN. Somehow I remember this as an arcade game back in the 80s, but I don't remember anything about it. So I need to look up and see what arcade game it was and see if the Atari 2600 version of TAC-SCAN is as good as I remember. And now let's take a look at some cool speakers that were donated to me by one of my subscribers. Come on down, take a peek. As I mentioned, friend of the show, Richard Smith, got in touch with me at AmiWest and said he'd like to donate some cool speakers to the channel. So let's take a look at what they are. These are the SoundSticks 2 speaker system from Harman Kardon, and of course Harman Kardon is a fantastic name in audio. You know, they make good quality audio for sure. And nice, it comes with a little adapter for adapting our nice little Amiga audio right into the standard 3.5 millimeter jack. Full sealed instruction manual. And look at this. These are still new, sealed in the box speakers. So these things have never seen the light of day before. They probably have some nice late 90s, early 2000s, probably mid 2000s air in them. Okay, no comments from the peanut gallery about the shape of these, okay? I know, I see it, you see it. As long as the audio quality is fine, that's all that matters. So let's get these little guys open here. Oh, both of them still sealed in the bag. How nice. We'll get the cardboard insert out. And we'll pull out the big old subwoofer component. Oh, this is great. This is fantastic. I love it. Let's get a better view of it here. This awesome piece of hardware, tell me that doesn't look like, I don't know, a vacuum cleaner canister or something, but how incredibly awesome is that? This would have gone nice with one of those translucent Macs back in the, what is it, early 2000s. Would have been the perfect match for something like that. Look at that awesome clear subwoofer that goes along with the two dildo speakers right here. That is a cool audio setup right there. Look at that. Look at that. They're just adorable. And look, they're right next to my little Commodore speakers that I picked up at the show too. These are the Commodore A10 speakers. You guys have probably seen these before. They're just rebranded. Somebody else made these, but these are just rebranded speakers, but they have the Commodore logo. They're a little dinged up. You can see that the front panel there has been dropped and it's dinged up, and they're not particularly clean and pretty, but I think I could make them look nice again. So what are my plans for this? Well, that might actually make a good match for my CD TV. I might take this off of my video receiver, audio video receiver, the CD TV, and hook it directly up to these, and that actually might make a cool combination. Thank you so much, Richard. That was an awesome donation, and I will be forever grateful. And he also tossed in a pack of fresh, new old stock, still in the plastic bag, double-sided, double density, 3.5-inch floppy disks. You can't go wrong with that. That's awesome. Richard, you are the man. Thank you so much. Huge thanks to my Patreons. Now, you'll see them scrolling across this beautiful image that Kevin Saunders created for the Amiga Art Contest. And all of our patrons, don't forget, you are allowed to vote for all of the entrants in Amiga Art Contest 2022. You'll find all of the information on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/10mark, or on Kevin Saunders' Patreon. The link is in the description, and you guys are all able to see all this cool stuff in advance and vote on it. Thank you, my patrons. You are all absolutely wonderful. Thanks so much for joining me today. AmiWest is incredible. If you get an opportunity to come visit, hop on a plane next year and, pack your bag, your carry-on bag with your Amiga 600 or Amiga 1200 in it. Forget the shaving cream and the toothbrush and the underwear. Just make room for your Amigas in there. Come on out to the show. We would love to see more people there next year. Please follow me on Twitter, if Twitter still exists. We're not too sure at this point in time what old Elon's going to do with it. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Please like and subscribe. It does wonders for the channel. All the likes and all the subscriptions just help the old YouTube algorithm get me out there even more. I really appreciate it. But until next time, this is Doug from 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast, signing out to go stress out more about voting in the Amiga Art Contest.